As recently as Sunday, during his interview with Norah O'Donnell on 60 Minutes on CBS, Donald Trump proudly proclaimed, inflation is gone. We solved it. Inflation is right where it should be. Prices do increase every year, and we're right in that sweet spot, he said. Prices for consumers are actually not even going up, he insisted, for the millionth time in the last few months. So I don't know what everybody's complaining about with higher prices. They simply don't exist, Donald Trump told us all. And then 2 days after that aired, his own Treasury Department, led, of course, by Howard Lutnick, Scott Bessent, came out and said, yeah, actually, inflation is a lot higher than what we had hoped for. See, the Treasury Department put out their economic report, which had all the input from J.P. Morgan and BlackRock and all of these other, shadowy Wall Street cabals that are running the government. And they admitted, prices for consumers are going up, inflation is going up, unemployment is going up. Basically, all the things you don't want to see happening with an economy. They're not only happening, the report says, but they're happening to a larger degree than any of us had thought they would. So, sorry, Donald, but your lies about the American economy are just not even falling with your own administration anymore. They can't even pretend to believe your lies anymore. So why would the American public continue to believe what you tell them versus what they see with their own eyes when they go to the grocery store? Let me read you this. Food prices for both groceries, food at home, and food services, food away from home, increased moderately in the third quarter. Inflation came in at 3% on an annual basis in September. And the 2% mark that they had aimed for remained above the target of 2% in the third quarter, given that it was 3%, not 2%. The committee consists of nonpartisan bond market executive. Nonpartisan? Really? NBC News? You're going to call these people nonpartisan? Committee consists of nonpartisan bond market executives from firms such as Citigroup, PEMCO, J.P. Morgan, and BlackRock, and provides input to the Treasury on government debt and financing issues. Overall, the Treasury Department said that, quote, economic growth solidified in the third quarter with steady business investment and consumer demand. So they're trying to paint a rosy picture of this economy that is not working for anybody if you're in the bottom 99 percentile of income earners by saying business investment is up. That's not true. That's a flat out lie in their own report as they're, contradicting Trump's lies. But they're still lying. Business investment's up. Consumer demand is high. And then later on in the report, they're like, well, consumer demand among poor people is actually going down. So the poors, they're not buying more. But the rich, oh my God, they're still spending money, folks. So what's everybody complaining about? In terms of business investment, there have been plenty of reports from businesses themselves where they've admitted, we're not investing. Okay, we're not expanding. In fact, we're actually contracting because Donald Trump's trade war policies, with all the tariffs on again, off again, will they, won't they, we don't know. We can't make decisions for the future, so we're not putting money back in our businesses. That's not from a government report. That's not from economists. That's from the goddamn businesses themselves telling us they're not doing it. And you got Scott Bessent, the most smug son of a bitch serving in this administration. I can't stand to see him because he's just got this air about him that makes you want to punch him in the face. But Bessent is still lying to us. Even while telling us, well, the economy's not as good as Trump says, but it's still pretty damn good. No, it's not. Bessent is a billionaire. Lutnick is a billionaire. They're getting advice from billion-dollar companies. They're all doing great. The rest of us, not so much. So even when this administration admits that Trump is lying, they still lie. It's an endless cycle. It's an endless cycle of lies and misinformation and outright falsehoods that contradict all of the available data. That is what we consistently get from this administration. Thanks for watching, everyone. You know, we're inching closer and closer to 1 million subscribers, and we're aiming to hit that goal before the year closes. So if you aren't subscribed to the channel, please do so, and don't forget to like, comment, and share. Thanks for joining us as we head towards this huge milestone.